Hello friends, welcome to Mechanical Mania. In this video, we will learn about welding. What do you mean by welding? What are the different types of welding? What are the different terminologies related to welding? Welding is basically a joining process in which a permanent joint is made. And this welding is basically used in automobile bodies, aircraft bodies, railway wagons, machine tools, structural works, tanks, boiler, general repair work, and shipbuilding. Everywhere in mechanical work or civil work, we use this welding. Welding is basically a joining process in which we join similar or dissimilar metals with or without the application of pressure. But the main source of welding is the heat. Heat is must, and with or without the application of pressure, and with or without the application of filler material. It means in welding, heat is the necessary part. Without heat, we can't do welding. So heat is the necessary part of the welding. But in some welding, pressure is also applied, and in some welding, filler material is also used. In this animation, you can see this man is doing a welding, and in his hand there is one electrode holder is there. Electrode is placed in electrode. With the help of this electrode holder, electrode, and the power supply, this man is doing a welding. Now we will discuss about the different types of welding. There are basically two types of weldings are there: pressure welding and the non-pressure welding. Pressure welding is also known as the plastic welding. प्रेशर वेल्डिंग को हम प्लास्टिक वेल्डिंग के नाम से भी जानते हैं. नॉन प्रेशर वेल्डिंग को हम फ्यूजन वेल्डिंग भी कहते हैं. प्रेशर वेल्डिंग को प्लास्टिक वेल्डिंग क्यों कहते हैं? व्हाई प्रेशर वेल्डिंग इज नोन एज प्लास्टिक वेल्डिंग? Pressure welding is known as plastic welding because the piece of metal to be joined are heated to a plastic state in this welding. Basically, in this pressure welding, whatever the metal we are joining, we heated that metal up to a plastic state and then forced together by some external pressure. That's why this welding is known as plastic welding, because they are heated to a plastic state and finally they are forced together by some external force. So this is also known as pressure welding. Example of the pressure welding is the resistance welding. You know these are different types of resistance welding are there: spot welding, seam welding. Now the second is the fusion welding or the non-pressure welding. Non-pressure welding is a welding in which only heat source is used, no pressure is used, and the non-pressure welding is also known as the fusion welding. In this fusion welding, the material is heated to a molten state and allowed to solidify. The different example of this fusion welding or non-pressure welding are gas welding and arc welding. Now we will see different classification of a welding process. Arc welding can be classified by the carbon arc, metal inert gas, tungsten inert gas, plasma arc, submerged arc, electroslag. सेकेंड हमारे पास है गैस वेल्डिंग. गैस वेल्डिंग को भी हम डिवाइड कर सकते हैं: ऑक्सी एसिटिलीन, एयर एसिटिलीन, ऑक्सी हाइड्रोजन. रेजिस्टेंस वेल्डिंग is of different types like butt welding, spot welding, seam welding, projection welding, percussion welding, thermite welding, solid state welding. In solid state welding there is a friction, ultrasonic, diffusion, explosive welding are there. There are some newer welding are also there, like electron beam welding and the laser beam welding. With the help of this electron beam and laser welding, we can do a very accurate type of welding. And some related processes of this welding processes are oxy-acetylene cutting, arc cutting, hard facing, brazing, soldering, etc. Now we will discuss one by one these different types of welding. First we have a arc welding. In this animation में आप देख सकते हैं, this is the electrode holder. Basically this is basically a welding generator. With the help of this welding generator or this electrode, we are melting our electrode, or we are melting our this filler material. Electrode is placed inside this electrode holder. This is the electrode holder. Electrode is placed inside this, and from outside we are providing this filler material. This filler material is melting, and with the help of this melting of this filler material, the two metal pieces are joined. The different equipments generally we used for this arc welding are welding generator, DC or AC, Two cables we use, one for electrode, one for workpiece. Protective shield we also use, gloves, wire brush, chipping hammer, goggles. These all are the equipments used in the arc welding. In this figure you can see this man is doing a arc welding. In this arc welding there is an electrode holder is there, and in electrode holder we have placed this electrode. This is the electrode, and this is a protective shield, gloves. These are the necessary part of welding whenever you are doing welding. Arc welding equipments you have already seen. Electrode holder. In electrode holder we place the electrode, and when we just put our electrode near to the workpiece, and the workpiece have some supply like AC or DC, and another piece of terminal is attached with this electrode holder, then this short circuit may be occur. This circuit may be completed, and because of this the arc is generated. This arc is the main source of welding here, because of which this metal melts, and we can join the two workpieces. Like metal arc welding, in this figure you can also see this is the metal arc welding. And in metal arc welding, suppose that there is one electrode is there, and there is a flux coating of electrode is there. So when this electrode melts, so first electrode melts, then flux coating is melt. Arc welding we use basically for metals. Arc welding is the most common method of welding metals. Arc welding जब भी हम करते हैं तो आर्क वेल्डिंग के डिफरेंट टाइप्स होते हैं हमारे पास. एक होता है कार्बन आर्क वेल्डिंग. कार्बन आर्क वेल्डिंग क्या करता है? इट प्रोड्यूसेस द कोलेसेंस ऑफ मेटल्स. इट मींस इट जॉइंस द मेटल्स, मेटल को ज्वाइन करता है बाय हीटिंग देम विद एन arc between a non-consumable carbon electrode and the workpiece. So arc is basically produced between electrode and the workpiece. And in carbon arc welding, electrode basically we are using is a carbon electrode. This carbon electrode is a non-consumable electrode. So whenever we are using a non-consumable electrode, so we have to use some filler material separately for joining of workpieces. If the workpieces thickness is more, then we have to use the filler material. If the workpieces thickness is less, then there is no need of using the filler material. Nowadays, the carbon arc welding is totally replaced by a newer arc welding, which is known as twin carbon arc welding, in which basically we use a pair of carbon electrodes.